Africa's history is filled with giants, freedom fighters, thinkers, revolutionaries, many whose names echo across time. But some of the greatest minds, the ones who quietly shaped the political destiny of an entire continent, remain hidden in the shadows. Today we bring one of those forgotten legends back to the spotlight. This is the story of Gabriel Darboussier, the Senegalese Mauritanian intellectual, political craftsman, and one of the earliest architects of African unity. Born in 1908 in Dakar to a Senegalese mother and a French father, Gabriel Darboussier grew up at the crossroads of two worlds, the colonizer and the colonized. This dual background gave him a unique understanding of the tension, injustice, and contradictions of colonial rule. But unlike many of his contemporaries who chose the path of revolt or armed struggle, Darboussier wielded a different weapon, his mind. He became a philosopher, a lawyer, a diplomat, and one of the sharpest political thinkers of his generation. And he would use all of this to help reshape Africa's destiny. In the 1940s, French West Africa was boiling with new ideas. Conversations on rights, equality, self-governance, and Pan-African unity was spreading like wildfire. It was in this environment that Darboussier emerged, calm, brilliant, and strategic. He co-founded one of the most influential political parties of the era, the African Democratic Rally, RDA. This wasn't just a political party, it was a movement, a collective of African leaders across colonial territories, uniting under one banner to challenge French domination with political intelligence rather than violence. Darboussier became its Secretary General, working alongside future African presidents like Félix Houphouët-Boigny, Côte d'Ivoire, Modibo Keïta, Mali, Sékou Touré, Guinea. But what made him special? While others were fiery on the podium, Darboussier was the strategist in the background, drafting ideas, shaping negotiations, and crafting the intellectual foundation of African self-rule. Gabriel Darboussier believed that the future of Africa lay not in isolated countries fighting alone, but in a united political and economic front. He pushed for interterritorial cooperation, African-led governance, economic self-reliance, and a continental identity beyond colonial borders. At a time when colonial governments tried to divide and rule, Darboussier pushed Africans to think as one people with a shared destiny. He wasn't the loudest voice in the room. He was the one crafting the blueprint everyone else used. But like many brilliant African thinkers of his time, Darboussier's rise was cut short by political storms. His bold ideas and influence began to make the French colonial administration uncomfortable. They saw him as too radical, too sharp, too persuasive, too African. He was pushed out of leadership positions inside the RDA. Some allies distanced themselves, political tides shifted, and just like that, the man who helped build one of Africa's greatest political movements was forced into the shadows. Did Gabriel give up? No. Instead, he pivoted. He became a diplomat representing Africa not through political struggle, but through global engagement. He worked with the United Nations, served in diplomatic missions, and became a bridge between Africa and the world. He promoted African governance, education, and economic development long after leaving frontline politics. While others became presidents and national heroes, Darboussier became something quieter but equally powerful, a global advocate for African dignity. For one reason, he worked behind the scenes. History often celebrates the loudest heroes, the warriors, the presidents, the revolutionaries. But men like Gabriel Darboussier, the thinkers, the planners, the architects of political consciousness, are too easily forgotten. Yet without him, the RDA might not have become the powerhouse that fueled independence across West Africa. Pan-African ideas might not have evolved as early as they did. Many of the leaders we celebrate today would not have had the intellectual frameworks they relied on. He was the quiet force behind the loud voices. Gabriel Darboussier passed away in 1976, leaving behind no monuments, no giant statues, no global fame, but his legacy lives in the independence movements he helped shape, the political consciousness he fueled, and the Pan-African dream he envisioned decades before it became mainstream. He reminds us that not all heroes stand on podiums. Some build the podiums that others stand on. So today, we honor Gabriel Darboussier, the philosopher, the political strategist, the diplomat, and one of Africa's forgotten masterminds of unity. If you believe Africa should celebrate all its heroes, not just the famous ones, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves African history.